Hey, Zoe.
Hello. Oh, I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on Straight from the Drafts. You are our second ever guest.
Oh, exciting. Oh, yay, exciting.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm a bit windswept from the dog this morning. I was voice noting someone and, the ego that I am listened back to the message that I sent. And I was like, oh gosh, I really shouldn't have sent that because it was so windy. And all the way through, I was like, I'm so sorry, you probably can't hear me. And then just proceeded to keep speaking for 2 minutes. So yeah, I'm good. I feel like if I get out in the morning, I think you wrote something actually. Maybe it wasn't you, but I saw it on social media that was like, get outside, like you need to get outside for like half an hour just to like clear the cobwebs away. And I did that this morning and I feel so much better when I do it. So I'm really good. Thank you. How are you?
Nice. Yeah, I actually did the same. I have decided I'm not a morning person, but I thought I can commit to 1 day a week getting myself out first thing. And I picked Wednesdays. So yeah, I did the same this morning and I agree. I was also sending voice notes that no one could probably hear. So yeah, sounds like we've had the exact same morning. Minus the
Yeah.
dog. I don't have a dog, but sounds delightful.
Oh yeah, no, I do. I don't know where he is. Don't know where he is. He's normally under my feet, but he's not today. But yeah, he makes me get out like 3 days a week. We've got a dog walker 2 days a week and my husband does 2 days a week. So I do 3. So that's fine.
Nice. Good to have an excuse, especially this time of year when it's dark and miserable.
100%.
This episode will probably be going out a couple of weeks after we've recorded it. And I am praying that there's no more snow. I'm not a snow gal. It's not for me, but we'll see. Future us, is it snowing?
Yeah, we had about an hour on Sunday. Where are you?
Manchester. Well,
Okay.
just south of.
Okay, I'm in Preston because I knew we met in Manchester, but I wasn't sure like if that's where you were as well.
Yeah, my sister's in Preston, so I do go up there quite a lot. I was up there on
way.
Saturday. I
Let me know
know. We
next
should
time.
definitely meet in person. This is
Yeah,
crazy.
we should definitely have a brew. Let me know next time.
I feel like I did know that you were in Preston, but I need the reminder. We are just chatting away, but would you like to introduce yourself? For anyone who doesn't know Zoe, she has an incredible business. So could you tell us a bit more about you and the wonderful work that you do?
I should have got my Ellie Kime TM bio ready, shouldn't I? I am Zoe. I am someone who is obsessed with helping business owners make data-driven decisions in their business because data is the only thing that is not going to lie to you when it comes to your business. You can pay someone to give you advice. You can pay someone to write the words for you and you can pay someone to design something for you. But a lot of that is all based on opinion and personal bias. As neutral as someone tries to be, they're always going to be biased in whatever they give you, whether it's in style or in their own lived experiences. And data is the only thing that doesn't lie to you. So if everyone had a better handle on their data, they would make better decisions in their business and ultimately make more money. That's the business that I'm in, helping business owners make more money. So yeah, that's me.
I love that. And I feel like I was so excited to chat to you and have you on the podcast because I kind of have always felt the way you do about numbers. I went down a really heavy maths route at school when we were picking our subjects because I was like, there's always a right answer with maths. It's not subjective. It's not up to my teachers to decide, is this a good essay or not? There's a black and white correct answer. And I really liked that. And data is kind of the reason that I have ended up in the marketing space. So even though we're approaching it from 2 different sides now and our businesses are so different, I just really love that. So glad to be chatting to another data lover.
The interesting thing is that I actually was not great at maths at school. I had to work really hard to be good at maths. I did not find it easy, but obviously now a lot of what I do is based in like spreadsheets and stuff, so I can get the computer to do the maths for me. But it's exactly that. There's a right or a wrong answer. And you can interpret things how you want to interpret them. And of course, bias and lived experience come into that as well. And there's a lot of, I write probably like 4 or 5 times a day. This is all dependent on you going and actually doing the work on this. Like, this isn't me telling you that this is what's going to happen. It's not just going to happen magically. You actually need to go and do it. But it is really nice to be able to go, I'm confident that if you do this and do this, then will be the result. And that forecasting kind of, I used to do a talk, which was, if you know your data, you can predict the future. And I genuinely believe that. I still believe that
Love
like
that.
5 years later. Yeah. You can, if you know what has happened, you can tell what's going to happen. And yeah, I just love the certainty of it.
Nice. And another thing that we've got in common, and I wonder whether this is linked to our love of data and there just being a correct answer, is being neurodivergent. And it's just another thing that I was like, it's going to be a great chat with Zoe today. But do you think
Yeah.
that has anything to do with your love for data? Because I really think that plays a part for me.
Yes. So I don't know what your flavor is. Mine is autism and ADHD. So I know that the autistic part of my brain, absolutely, without me even knowing it, but without me even realizing that I potentially was autistic, and I got my diagnosis last year, so I definitely am. But before I even knew that, I found like safety in pattern spotting. I've always spotted patterns, whether that's patterns of behavior, patterns of speech, patterns of numbers, like whatever it is. I've always spotted similarities and worked out like what people might mean from what they're saying, all those sorts of things. So pattern spotting definitely has led me to where I am now, and being able to think in that way has helped me my whole career. Everything I've done, every system so if anyone doesn't know, if this is the first time you're hearing from me, my background was in systems building. Before that, even I worked in the wedding industry, like very like swirly career. But when I worked in the wedding industry, everything I did kind of behind the scenes was to make my life more efficient, because it's a very busy industry and a very busy time of year, and then sometimes quieter. But everything I did, I built to make me more efficient, whether that was building calculators in Excel or databases for callbacks, whatever it was. I was trying to just like muddle my way through everything. And that was all because I was like, there has to be an easier way to do this. There has to be a way where I am not sat counting how many people are having sticky toffee pudding on Saturday, because a computer should be able to do this for me. And also, like, ironically, being obsessed with data and stuff, I'm actually really, and this is my ADHD, I'm really not very good at counting. So like, I'm not very, said, I've got a friend who, very, very odd. My friend runs a yarn store, or she used to. I'm not sure if she does anymore. And I was saying to her, I really want to get better at knitting this year. Like, I really want to do like more offline hobbies. And knitting is one I think that's really when you're in front of the TV. And she was like, is this I'm not very good at knitting, but actually I can knit and I'm fine and I just want to be better? Or is it I can't knit? I was like, no, I can knit, but there's two things that stop me. Number one, my stitches are too tight. No, I can work on that. But number two, I can't count. So like when it's set, so I found a pattern last night and it had 227. I had to cast on 227 stitches. And I was like, I'm not going to get to 227. And every 20, I'm going to have to recount because I've forgotten where I got to. So yeah, everything, the knowledge of my neurodivergence has absolutely helped me to be able to say, this is what I'm really good at, but also I need support because I'm not very good at this part of it. And that's just power in my mind. It can only make me better.
100%. And I'm sure it's really refreshing and helpful for your clients to hear that as well, because I think just the word data sometimes sounds overwhelming, and what you do, there is a lot of skill to it and there's a lot of, experience to be able to do it in the way that you do it. But also, data doesn't have to be complicated, and it is just sometimes as simple as, let's find a pattern here and understand what this actually means. That's I think maybe where I've gone a different path to the way that you do business and data is I really enjoy the sort of storytelling around the data. And yeah, I just think the simpler that you can make the actual process of looking at your data, the clearer that story becomes and the easier it is to interpret, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've definitely got some content going out about this coming up, but like a really quick example, I've got an offer at the moment. It's converting really well. My sales page, like my Google Analytics tell me that it's converting really well, and it feels like it's converting really well. Like I've recognized that as well. So, but I'm like, why am I only on this number? This doesn't make sense. And then actually what the numbers are telling me is not enough people have seen it. It's not that it's not a great offer. It's not that the copy's bad. It's not that the visuals are bad. It's not that it's called something really random. It's not that people don't want it. Not enough people are going to look at the page. That is the problem. It is a traffic problem. And I think often we leap to, because of what bigger names might shout about, or people have written books about, or have podcasts about, whatever. I think often we are drawn in the line of, oh, well, this person is a website designer, so they're going to tell me that my website needs to change and that's why it's not converting, because my website's not good enough. Or this person is a copywriter, so they're going to tell me that the copy's bad, so I need to work on the copy, and that's why it's not working. But actually, a lot of the time, everything we've done is great. It's just that we either don't have enough eyes on our product or our offer or our freebie or whatever it is, or we're not making enough offers to people to say, will you go and look at what I've done? So that's definitely like the camp that I fall in. Like, often I'm not making enough offers and not enough people are seeing what I'm doing. So that's quite an easy problem to fix, like send more traffic to where you want them to go. Whereas if there wasn't a great conversion rate, like if the conversion rate was low, so you've got a great amount of people going on, but not enough people are falling out the bottom, then it probably is a problem with the copy or the visuals or the offer name or the price. Like, that's when you can go into the details of what it is that you're actually offering. But I think a lot of people panic at that first level when it's actually, you don't have enough data to be able to make a decision that what you're selling isn't what people want, because you need more people to see it.
Yeah. So just stop in the spiral, because you can give yourself a bit of grace that it's working when people see it.
Yeah.
You just need people to see it.
If it's not, then yeah, okay, work on that next level. Or if people are clicking through to the checkout and they're not paying, that's probably a pricing issue. Like, there's so many different stages, but I think everyone lumps it into the creative piece of it, whereas actually the creative piece probably is not the problem most of the time. But not enough people look at the numbers and look at like the information to be able to make that decision.
Yeah. And I know this isn't necessarily what we're talking about today, but I just wanted to pick up on what you said there about there's a bias of what the problem is depending on who you speak to. So if you're speaking to a copywriter, they might tell you that the copy is the problem, etc., etc. And I just wanted to call that out, because I think it's too important to kind of just get lost in our general chat there about data. But a helpful reminder for people, I think, to take things online, take advice that they get online with a pinch of salt, because it's so easy to feel shit about yourself online that everyone is telling you that you're doing everything wrong, but it is usually because they've got a solution.
Yes. 100%. Like, honestly, one of my bugbears of the last 6 months to a year has been the heavy use of shame in marketing. And that's why this is not me promoting, but that's why that's why my offer is called Look How Good You're Doing. Because I was writing these reports for people, and at the end I was like, you're doing really well, like just do more of it. Like, it's not none of this is bad. You just need to do more. It's not that things aren't working, because everything is. And there's people I love offline that I would go and spend time happily. I would go for lunch with, I would go on a retreat with. I would never spend money with them because of the way they market themselves. And that obviously works for some people. And there's part of me that's like, oh, I'm obviously not an ideal client, because that kind of marketing just doesn't appeal to me. But then when they've tried to pitch me, I'm like, oh, maybe I am an ideal client. Like, should I say to them that the way they're marketing themselves really puts me off? And I don't know whether it is my neurodivergent brain. I'm very like black and white. So I'm like, okay, well, you have told me that I'm shit. Like, I already know that I'm shit. I don't need you to tell me that I'm shit. I need you to help me not feel like I'm shit, not double down on the fact that I feel like I'm shit. And so, yeah, you're really right to call it out. And I also want to say, like, I've worked with so many creatives, like, I'm not calling out and saying, like, oh, copywriters are bad because they tell you you've got bad copy. Like, copy is probably
no, of course,
my biggest, like, I really struggle with copy. So it's always something that I go to that I'm like, oh, if I could just outsource to a copywriter, I'd be so much better. And there are some really great people, and they definitely wouldn't be someone who would be telling you that the copy is the reason why things aren't working. But equally, on the flip side of that, they also have something to sell. So, like, they're probably going to suggest that they might want to do a rewrite. But I think most people the reason why most things don't convert, I would say, is because the offer's not quite right. Not because the visuals are bad, not because the copy's bad, not because the price is wrong. It's because the offer isn't quite what people want.
Mm-hmm.
And once you find once you land on the offer that people do want, you're booked out and you're full, and you realize that everything else didn't matter, and it was just that you weren't quite getting to the crux of what people wanted. Or the other side of it is, again, going back to what I said before, not enough people have seen it. And that is literally probably the biggest cause of like non-sales, is that not enough people have seen what you're selling.
Yeah. Oh, good marketing chat. Sometimes it's good just to say these things, because I don't think there's enough positivity in our world at the moment, to be honest. And I adore the title of your offer.
Yeah, it was like, honestly, I wrote it. I did about 4, and I'd written it in every one, and I was like, this is what I need to say to people, because I just, like, people book it and they're like, oh, my data's so messy, and like, I've got things everywhere. I'm like, it's fine, I don't care. Like, as long as you've got data, don't say you don't have data, because you do. Like, I sent a report yesterday, and there was like £1.5 million worth of opportunity for her. Like, that's just wild.
Wow.
She had a big business. It's not like she had like a 30k a year business, but yeah, it's just like, do more of what you're doing. You don't need new.
I love that. I want to ask you more about kind of what you do and how you've got there, because you mentioned having I can't remember what word you used, a squiggly career.
Swirly,
I feel like so many of us do. Swirly was the word. But I fear that might give some spoilers for your actual story for today. So this is only the second guest episode. So just as a reminder, if you're listening to this, these guest episodes are shining a spotlight on a moment of self-trust. And Zoe's got a really good one to share with us today. So I don't want to encroach on that too much. So shall we just dive into that story, and then I can ask all the follow-up questions as part of that instead of spoiling it up front. Could you set the scene? What year are we in? What work are you doing? Let us know where we're starting here.
I'll go back to the beginning of this phase. Like, that's probably the easiest way. So I've been running my own business since 2017. Nice. I had a brief sojourn of 3 years working for someone else, but we don't talk about that. I referenced that now. I referenced it this morning as the before times. So like, that's back then. So that was in I left that job in 2023. And then, so in 2023, mid 2023, I started working for myself, and I started to do what I did in my job for other people. So it was very kind of ops-based, systems-based, setting up things. I had a lot of people who'd seen what I'd achieved in my job and wanted me to do that for them. Wasn't possible because data didn't work. Anyway, that's another story. And then in mid 2024, I was like, I can't keep building these systems. I need some sort of group program revenue generator. And I was on a holiday in Greece. And my brother, who's a business owner as well, I was like going back and forth with him. I was like, people keep telling me they need leads, but it's not leads. They don't need leads. They're not serving the people that they've got. But if leads is what they want, this is what I'm going to give them. So I created this whole program, sold it. And then that kind of spiraled into lower ticket stuff, and my audience got colder and colder, and just weren't really interested in anything I was doing. And I was like, oh, right, okay, what have I done here? And then, in April 2025, so that was like mid 24, in April 25, I was like, right, Airtable's where it's at. I'm going to do Airtable builds. I just want to do the work. I'm not bothered about anything else. So then I put myself out there for Airtable builds, got consistent contracts like all the way through to December. But it wasn't, although I love the builds, it's not super sustainable, because the majority of the time, the type of clients that I work with, it's a bespoke service. So it's not like I can build a template and then be like, well, have me set up your client hub for you, have me set up your project management system for you. Like, it's just too nuanced for that. And I didn't want to productize it. Like, the systems that I've built are so revolutionary for my clients, and I love that, but they are so time consuming. There's only one of me. I don't have any team. So I, in September last year, I'll keep doing the Airtable stuff. Like, people know me for that, and I keep getting recommended for it, and that's great. I can only really do one project at a time, and like, I'll just keep going with that. But what I'm recognizing is every single person that I was working with, I was finding like between 40 and 150,000 pounds worth of opportunity in their business from not going and
Mm.
setting new offers, not finding new people. And so I realized like all that lead generation stuff that I'd been doing the year before, even though I was calling it lead generation, a lot of it was around having a good offer, speaking to existing clients, like who are your super fans? I'd done a challenge last year in June that was called Loyal AF that was like about rewarding the people that have been your biggest supporters. So I realized that actually a lot of what I wanted to do was around data, but I've had a big thing in my head, like since 2017, probably, of like what I do is really boring. Like I have to get people to like buy into what I do because it's really boring, but it can be so lucrative. And I felt like so in September, I sort of felt like I'd been paddling around, getting nowhere. And I was like, I need to just commit to doing this data stuff. Like I know how transformative it could be. If someone like of the reports I've done recently, even if I take the lowest amount of money that I found, if she implemented 10% of what I suggested, she'd make £3,000. And like for her, that would
Mm.
the equivalent of her monthly take home last year. So like it's still revolutionary, even if it's like small numbers. So I just decided that I was going to go all in on one offer. So that's what I've done. Like this year, I'm selling one offer, which is totally the opposite of what I'd suggest most of my clients do. But I've got my own personal goals that I want to hit and my own piece that I want to hit. And like, I feel like this is the way to do it. And I don't see anyone else talking about this stuff, but everyone that I speak to is like, oh, I love what you're talking about. Like it makes so much sense. And I think having the confidence, because honestly, last year financially was really hard. Like I just was going from thing to
Mhm.
thing, not committing, like not getting the results that I wanted, but not really understanding why. And it's really hard when you have that data focused brain and you're going, the data isn't giving me anything. Like I don't even have data to go off to try and understand what's going on. I literally just am not getting any response. So that was a really hard
Mhm.
thing that I had to sit with of like, oh God, everyone's forgotten about me or everyone, not even that, like, no one's interested in what I've got to say.
Mhm.
And it's because I know now it's because I was just talking about too many things, like not really having a focus, trying to just jump on bandwagons. I feel like, I don't know if you know Lizzie Goddard, but like she has spoken recently about like her journey with AI last year. And I feel like mine is probably pretty similar. Like I was
Mhm.
trying to do everything and like automate everything and use AI in loads of stuff. And it's when it didn't need to be used. So I feel like I lost my way and therefore lost the trust of my customers, which obviously meant that in terms of like financially, that was just an absolute disaster. But
Mm.
the end of last year, a few things happened. So like I reconnected with some people that I'd been friends with ages ago. And that's been really transformative. They've given me some introductions to some new people that I don't know. And I've gone all in on the data piece, which is really paying off. So yeah, I think the trust came from literally felt like I was at rock bottom. Like, I don't know if, are you witchy at all? Are you woo at all?
I'm semi woo. I'm
Yeah.
open to woo. Is kind
Okay.
of my stance.
So I'm woo curious. That's like my take on it.
Yes,
But
that's a great phrase.
so I'm just holding up a set of tarot cards for Neo to see. But there's a tarot card that is the Wheel of Fortune, and I tell this
Mhm.
story all the time. So like fast forward it if you've heard me tell this before. My first boss, my first proper boss, was a white witch. And so when I started working at that wedding venue, she did a tarot night and she pulled probably like 3 or 4 spreads for me. And in every spread, the Wheel of Fortune came up. And she was
Mm.
like, this is your card. Like it keeps coming up. This is going to be throughout your life. Like the Wheel of Fortune is going to follow you around. And I was like, okay. And generally every spread I do, it will come up. Um, and she said, the Wheel of Fortune is probably not what you think it is. You need to think of it more as like a wheel of life. And when you feel you're at rock bottom, you need to know that someone is coming on to, she said, think of it like a Ferris wheel. When you're at the bottom, someone is getting on that you need to help you get up to the next level. But remember, when you're at the top, you are about to come back down the other side. She was like, it is a wheel. It will continue to turn. And if you feel like things are as bad as they can be, they are going to get better. And genuinely, like, that has held me for the last, I don't know, 15 years since she first told me that. Every time I've been at rock bottom, and there's been quite a few times, and I definitely feel like last year I was near there, I just had to keep telling to myself, like, someone is coming into my life that is going to make a difference to me. And that has happened. Like, someone has come into my life in the second half of last year that has made a huge impact on me. And it will make a huge impact on the business, I can tell. And it's also, the other thing is, separately, the first 2 years that I was on my own again, I was very heavily subscribed to the idea that I had to pay into be in the spaces that I wanted to be in. So whether that was being in a mastermind or a membership or paying for an event or sponsoring something, whatever it was, I really felt like that's how I was going to get in front of people. And actually, what's been so much more successful is going to events as a customer and connecting with people at them. So actually go and also like reaching out and being like, oh, I like you. I think we get on. Let's have a coffee. Generally, no one says no. And that has been so much more powerful than trying to pay my way into places. And I'm not saying that pay to play doesn't work. I think it does. But for me, my experience has been it has not been fruitful because I've not been prepared for it at the back end. And it's probably not been in the right spaces. So also trusting myself not to invest in stuff that I don't need has also been revolutionary.
So much to
there's so
dive into there. Oh, I love it. No, so good. So I feel like there's two things that I've picked up on, but very much almost the same theme of it feels like the self-trust is kind of in the sense of trusting yourself to just hang on, like not necessarily trusting yourself to take action, but trusting yourself to just wait it out. We're going to be okay. And the power of networking and knowing that those people are coming into your life. I think it's so important to build a network. I talk all the time about like business doesn't have to be lonely and how amazing small business pals are. And I think what you've just shared is an amazing example of that. But yeah, just trusting yourself to lean in and almost lean out at the same time. I don't really know which way round is accurate there, but yeah, it's nice to hear a story that's not like, and then I did this thing, and it's like I got there eventually, but for a minute there, I just had to hang on.
Well, I'm not scared to say, like, towards the end of last year, I was applying for jobs. Like, I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's too hard. I don't want to be employed, but I also have got bills to pay, and I can't see where my next clients are coming from. And obviously, like, the week that I started applying for jobs, I started to have really good conversations with people. And in my head, I'm quite of like a visual thinker. And in my head, the way that I can like describe it is kind of like I was hanging over a cliff and I just had to know that my arms would hold me, but also someone was coming to pick me up. And I wasn't going to fall, but I knew that I wasn't going to be the one that was going to pull me up off that edge of the cliff.
That's so gorgeous. I literally just got goosebumps.
Like, don't get me wrong. I've worked very hard in the last 4 months, I would say. I think before then I was coasting. Like, I'm not adverse to saying like, I was kind of just things will be as they always have been and like things will always be easy. I don't think I'm alone in thinking that 2025 is a really weird year for the online space. But I knew that things had changed and I needed to change with them, and I just needed to keep going, and I needed to be more relentless, put more stuff out there. I kind of felt like I couldn't, hand on heart, give up my business to go and get a job and say I tried everything that I could, because I hadn't. So I had to just lock in, as the new phrase of the year was last year, and keep going with the knowledge that if I did have to get a job temporarily, that was fine. It would be fine. My business would grow again. It would all be fine. But I would say, like, I know that things will be great and things will also be bad, and it's fine because they'll be great again. Like, things aren't always bad all the time, in my experience. Obviously, like, big life events notwithstanding. Because I had a few of them last year as well. So like that added on top kind of made me put into perspective my business. So I was like, okay, this can't be the be all and end all. I need to build it so I can be there and then switch off at the end of the day. But just to pick up on what you said about small business pals, we have a mutual friend, Rachel, and I've only met her once, like I've met you once. And I put a shout out yesterday. I was like, I really need to brainstorm, like verbally process, as you might be able to tell I'm a verbal processor. I need to like help. I need some help just like talking to me about this idea. And she was like, yeah, WhatsApp me.
Mm.
I'll pick it up whenever, but like just voice note me and then we'll get it. And I was like, oh, that's so kind. And so I did. And she came back with like loads of ideas. And I was like, she had no reason to do that. Like we know each other online and I've met her once, but she had no reason to like do that. But it's just the kindness of the people in this industry really do exist. You just maybe have to go and look in the unexpected places to find them.
Yeah, and she's been at the other end of a voice note for me many times in the last year, so I know how helpful that can be to talk through with someone as generous as Rach is with her time. But I saw a quote from, I assume Grace Beverley didn't write this quote, I don't know, but I saw it from her last year that was saying, if you want the support of a village, you've got to be willing to be a villager. And I've definitely messed that quote up. It was a lot more slick than the way I've just said it, but it's such a good point. Like, you've got to be that person to attract those people into your life. So it is also testament to you, I think, that, you know, to have someone willing to do that for you probably means that you've been putting that energy out there for other people as well.
Oh, I would hope so. Like, I was actually really like touched. I put it on Threads and someone wrote, actually, oh my God, the caliber of these people offering to help you, I would die. And I was like, because the people that were offering to help me, I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely wild. I didn't take everyone up on it just because I feel like too many names can be, you know, confusing. But one of the people, I was like, oh yeah, what, like how do I do this? How do I take this? She's like, yeah, just Voxer me. And I did. And it was maybe, I don't know, like over the period, maybe like a 15-minute conversation. Now I went to an event this year and she gifted me a ticket to it. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I never like want to bother you because I have been a client of hers and she's very strong on boundaries. And she was like, yeah, we're friends. You can always message me. And I was like, we're friends? I didn't know we were friends. Oh my God, thank you so much. But I'm very, again, autistic. I'm very conscious of not overstepping people's boundaries and overstepping time. I'm very like, if you don't invite me to message, like to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you because I don't want to bother you. So yeah, I'm getting better at that. But I am very much like, oh, I can just do that for you. Let me do it. Because I think as well, eldest daughter vibes. I'm like, it's just easier if I do it myself. Like, I'll just do it for you because it's easier if I do it myself. But hopefully that comes across as helpful, not bossy.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm sure the people that you're helping will be grateful, and that's kind of all that matters. Is
Hopefully.
the direct people that you're speaking to rather than what anyone else would think.
So
do you feel like the self-trust that you needed at the end of last year has come from kind of that cycle of the Ferris wheel of seeing like, I've done it before, I can do it again? Is that where it sort of stems from?
Yeah, completely. Like, it's just this trust in a higher power, whatever that higher power is, like whether you're religious or not. Like, I'm not particularly religious, but a trust in I have it all within me to be able to succeed again because I have seen success before. It's like your brain is always looking for examples of ways this is going to go wrong. So sometimes you need to rewire it to remember the times that it's gone right. So I've got something on I've got a WhatsApp chat on my phone to myself called Brag Bag. So anytime anyone ever sends me anything that's like, oh, thank you so much or whatever, I send that and I can just have a little scroll through and be like, oh no, I do provide value. There's a podcast that I listen to and they often have callers and it's like on a radio show and they will say, you have value. Like, you are valuable, you have value. And I think that's something that's always in my head, like, you have value. Even if sometimes I'm not able to see it. But yeah, the self-trust for me had to come from believing that there was something else on the way that was going to be far more important and far better than anything I had done previously.
Gorgeous. And I can't wait to see what 2026 brings. I would agree with your earlier statement that last year was weird, and I'm very optimistic that this one's going to be better for so many of us. So fingers crossed.
I agree. I generally don't like odd numbered years. I always like an even numbered year. So 2026, all the evens. What more could we want?
Interesting. On that note, I guess, while we're on a positive high, do you have a favourite? I mean, we've shared a few tidbits throughout the episode, but do you have a favourite mantra or quote that you would like to end the episode on?
Yes, it's from my dad. He's said this all my life, and it is nothing is a problem, everything's an opportunity. So work out what the opportunity is and act on it. So anytime that you're faced with anything that feels like it's a roadblock, it's an opportunity for you to do something better.
That is great advice. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Zoe's dad, for that wisdom. I feel like a lot of people can take that away.
Yeah. It's it's always stood me in good stead. Like, he's had a lot of ups and downs in his career. He's retired now. But yeah, he's a very wise man. Even if sometimes he's really annoying and puts chocolate wrappers back in the tin. That's just a minor annoyance.
Everyone has their flaws.
Yeah, definitely.
I will add links, so if anyone isn't following you yet, then they can go and check out your Instagram, and people can tune in to your podcast as well. Look how good you're doing.
Look how good you're doing. Yeah, I chose a name that I loved and I ran with it. So yeah, that's out. I mean, if this is going out in a few weeks, there's probably about a month's worth of episodes up now. So I would love you to go and listen. It's a mixture of solo and guest episodes, and it's just hyping people up, telling you how to do better, encouraging you that you're already doing well.
We love that, and I think we need more of that in 2026. So definitely go and give that a listen. Go and follow Zoe over on Instagram if you're not already. And just to end with a big thank you for everything that you've shared today. There's a lot of wisdom in there, marketing chat, quotes and mantras to live your life by, so much good stuff. So thank you so much for sharing and taking the time to come and talk to me today.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for listening to my waffle.
Happy Waffle Wednesday, guys. I hope you have a gorgeous rest of your week.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.